Hi guys, bit of a different one, but I want to start going through figure reviews or collections that I have. And to start off, I thought I'd go into a more obscure character, or a more obscure character from where I'm from, Spawn. So yeah, let's go. As you can see, this is the 1994 variant figure without shoelaces running down his face. So before he fought against Batman, I don't know if that's still canon though, because he got a batarang to the face, which isn't very characteristic, but it's quite Frank Miller-esque, so I don't know. Yeah, so this is the first figure, the variant, and it's bluer, as you can tell. The line work on it is really good, but it has like an animated feel to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the cape. So I think it's before, or McFarlane kind of thought about how to do articulating capes, or how it should lay. So it's got like the animated look. I think it's very much based on the comics, because I don't know if the show was out yet, but he's very angular, as you can tell. And I'll get into articulation later. So the cape, very, very thick plastic, which helps with like him standing up, as you can tell, but he does get super dusty. So, you know, take what you will. But yeah, so it will help him stand up if you want him to do that. Got an articulated cape that closes, so you could put like an elastic band round so he has a closed cape. And from the front, it doesn't look too bad like that. But I know in the packaging, it was sort of like this. So it had like one cape closed, one cape open. And so it kind of goes to that as a default a lot of the time, like on a stand and things. And especially if it's like behind loads of other figures. Cape can articulate in and out, basically. We'll get into his accessories in a little while. Let's get a closer look. His very, very green power-up eyes. It's grim, isn't it? Look at his head. You can see the skull cracks, the maggots. It would have been nicer if the maggots were different colours, or pink, but I understand it's very old compared to now. I wasn't even born, like, you know, 94. See like skeletal features on him, of course the teeth. You'll see the back of the neck and things like that. I'll show that after I take the cape off. If you ever collect one of these, I'll just warn you, be very, very careful with the actual collar bit, the two skulls at the top, because they've got little pegs, and if you break them, they're not going to work anymore, really, to help, kind of. So I'll just put the cape back here. Yeah, that works pretty well. And you can see at the back, he's got a very curved back anyway, because he's like an animated looking figure. But it helps with like prop out the cape. You don't really see that with capes anymore. You know, they've got cloth ones. So I really like that part of it. Let's get into the actual overall look of the figure. Yes, okay. So, the eyes look amazing. Like, they're very, very well done. You'll see in a little while, like other figures, paint apps aren't as clear. Sorry about the dust, by the way. It's been a while. So you can see the skeleton on the side, on the back. Oh man, look at the neck. It looks so cool. Yeah, I'll go through the articulation now. By the way, as well, this is like a rubbery kind of chain. So it doesn't quite match the collar, but it still looks quite nice aesthetically. And it flares out, you know, because he's got the powers and everything. Okay, so review in full effect now. The head rotates. A lot of these figures will have the really classic kind of like 5 points of articulation. But head rotates, doesn't go up and down, sadly. But I don't mind that. Like this one, I don't, you know, get out and pose that much because he looks cool with like the overall posing anyway. A lot of the animated or the early comic book figures had this kind of like format with articulation. So it's to be expected. The arms rotate, you know, I won't do the other one. I think I just popped that out. The legs, which is kind of really cool, go forwards this much and it doesn't hinder. Also, there's no peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and not back at all really because of the way the hoo-ha is sculpted. Legs bend that much, which is fine. Like you can get him in cool poses, cool overall poses, but you know. So that's the Unmasked variant one. And then for accessories, well, with this one in particular, this variant, he came with this sort of baseball bat with a bit of metal in, or whatever you want to call it. This is bent over time, by the way. When it came out of the packaging, it's fine. Just put some hot water on it, it'll be fine. But yeah, so this is the one that came with this one. I really like it because, like it says, it's like minimalistic. It's not too. It's like between comic book and animation, I think. Next is my medieval spawn from the first wave of figures. Like I said, I collected pretty much most of, or if not most of, the whole line. As you can see, I don't have the cape, which the cape is really cool. It's got like studs here, and it's different to the other cape, which is more flowy. But I really like this figure too. It's sort of the same, but sort of different. I did mention liking like the red gloves, and a lot of Spawn figures don't really show this, but he's got pointed fingers, like almost like claws, which I really like that aesthetic. It's not like Batman's gloves when they're just a separate entity. Okay, and also, if you can see, the detail on this one is also unreal. It's not like the animated look of the other one. Yes, it's still simplistic, but there's a lot here to unpack. Because it was secondhand, it's got a broken belt buckle, which is similar to the other one. It's like a skull here, just for you to see. So, take a closer look. Face, you can see it's like a helmet, like very like Valhalla kind of Thor-y. You can actually see like studs going up, sort of like it's metal and iron cast. Very medieval looking. I don't know how to explain it. I like it. Kind of gives like Iron Man, really old school Iron Man vibes. You can see like the neck stretches as well, like the musculature, which is cool. Eyes on this one, they're not as clear, but I still really like the look. I used to use this as kind of my basic spawn because the other one, like I said, I liked it just posing. There are slightly different parts of this. Like, as you can see, the chest is really armoured up. You can see like all the little kind of line work and like sort of studs, how it's been hammered together or nailed together, which I like. You can see as well, like they've kind of got lines going throughout the arms too. Not on this arm actually, which I've not noticed before. So it's kind of like one arm, sort of like a gladiator look. You've got the studs, which as you can see have really worn down over time. They may not have been as spiky as the other one. I don't think they would have been, just because of the overall look. It's quite in your face. Look at the lines on the gloves, they're so cool. The dots, dots, dots. It's really cool. I love this. I love like the kind of gauntlets of this one. They are proper like gloves though still. They both got the same sort of handwork. Like, you know, one's clenching what should be like a mace or a sword or a shield. I think this came with a shield. And this one, like, you know, flared, kind of powering up like the other unmasked figure that I've got. I'll do a comparison shot in a minute. If we want to look at the back, you can see it's very lined up with the M. You can see as well at the Todd McFarlane stamp is there, so it can be hidden if you have a cape on him. You see the chainmail here, which is pretty cool. See that as well here, which is a shame that I don't have the belt buckle. The knee hides the joint on this side, which is quite nice. Studs look cool. Studs here as well. I like how this one is all one piece, or technically one piece. You do get the cut in it. Go through articulation now. So the head, like the other one, rotates left and right. It can go all the way around, but I won't push it. The arms fully rotate. They are looser on this one too. I don't know if that's with all of them, but it might be the way that this one's sculpted as opposed to this one. This one's, you know, pretty standard. There's no waist cut or anything like that. Legs go forward this much. No pec holes, by the way. Like that. So you can have him falling backwards, like being pushed. Or also you can see studs on the ankle, which I forgot to mention, which is really cool on this one. And this one in particular. This one doesn't have one. Knee bends, so you can hide the joint. I think I've mentioned that before. 90 degrees pretty much. And then on the other one, just because it is sculpted differently, I will show you the articulation. Goes forward the same amount pretty much, slightly less because of how the way it's sculpted. Doesn't go back at all because of that. It doesn't go in and out either, and then it bends down as well. So it's pretty good. I do like the armoured foot like look. They're kind of like how they would be as knights, as you would, I might just call it knight spawn. So there's a comparison shot for you. You can see similarities. I feel like the differences outweigh the similarities. Definitely join me next time if you want to see this Waves Rogues Gallery.